Apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Handshake Barbershop, a vintage barbershop feel where you can catch up with an old friend and maybe make a new one. We still do classic men's haircuts, beard trims, and hot towel straight razor shaves. Plus, we offer more modern, trendy haircut services. Enjoy arcade games and rock and roll spinning on vinyl while you're here too. Book your appointment online at handshakebarbershop.com. Everything you love about your favorite barbershop, but with our own special DNA. In Arab, Gunnersville, and now at Cherokee Ridge Country Club. Online at handshakebarbershop.com.
Byram Energy Solutions is your one-stop shop for all your petroleum needs. They have over 50 years experience in the business and offer bulk sales of all grades of gasoline and diesel fuel. Byram Energy Solutions has diesel exhaust fluid, multiple grades of motor oil, hydraulic fluids, and many different types of grease. They provide on-site fueling, on-site loaner takes, inventory control, and fleet fuel management. You can also stop by their warehouse on Highway 231 in Lacey Springs and get any of the products they offer. Visit Byram Energy on Facebook to learn more.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And away we go here on a Monday live from Woody Anderson Ford. It is great to be on campus here at Woody. This after I had several people that I bumped into this weekend that were asking me to compile exactly what I learned in Destin. And I guess the biggest thing we learned was the football schedule. I mean, we know that for certainty. but a lot of uncertainty coming out of Destin in the spring meetings. How are you, Wes?
More questions than answers.
There is no doubt about that. Well, I always forget about this. This is I'm trying to remember the first year I voted on the National Football Foundation, the Hall of Fame ballot went into my email box earlier today. It's been well over a decade, maybe closer to 2 decades. But I'm taking a look at this release of football players and coaches, and honestly, coaches, this feels like rather easy to me. Nick Saban is on the list for the College Football Hall of Fame. You think he's a first balloter?
Yeah.
You think that's possibly?
Yeah. I can't believe he's on the list already. I thought you had to wait 2 years.
There was a waiving. They waived the period for certain.
Have you seen his commercial? Whether Mac Brown is Mac Brown retired also?
No, he's not.
Well, they're playing what is that? When you keep it from falling? Jingle? Whatever. What is
Jenga.
that stuff thing called? Jinja. Thank you.
Jenga.
They're playing Jenga.
Yeah.
And somebody comes over and knocks it down, and Saban just swipes it pissed off, and they bring out another game and start playing like elf and a thing. It's it's just out of character what you would think he would do. It was really, I thought it was good.
Well, we've seen him on a golf course. I saw him on a golf course, a video of him going over to a crowd just taking selfies with person after person after person.
This is the same guy you weren't allowed to talk to.
Yeah.
When he walked in the hall.
Yeah.
I guess because, he didn't have time to talk to you because he was working. So, yeah.
He is not working. So, your coach is on the list.
I'm happy about the way he's handling it so far, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It looks like he's having fun.
It does. It really does.
And he deserves it, no doubt.
Tommy Tuberville, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer on the list as well. I wonder how many votes Urban's going to get.
I think a lot. He won the 3 national championships.
Ralph Friedgen, Larry Coker.
No, he won 3 or 4. He won
3 that I can think of right off the top of my head. 1 at Ohio State, 2 at Florida. And Larry Blakeney also made the cut as well. Always rooting for Coach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Some players on the list, most notably Peter Warwick on the list.
I think he'd be a shoe-in.
Michael Vick on the list.
Shoe-in.
Manti Te'o on the list.
I don't know about that.
Sean Taylor from the U.
How could Manti Te'o get in?
He was
before Eddie Lacy. How do you say that he's
2012 unanimous first-team All-American. First player in history to sweep the Maxwell, Walter Camp, Bednarik, Butkus, Lombardi, and Nagurski awards in the same season.
Because of his girlfriend.
The fake girlfriend, yeah.
That was dying.
Takeo Spikes made the list
hell of a football player.
Richard Seymour. He was a bully in every sense of that word on the football field.
Where did he play in college?
Georgia. He went to Georgia.
Yeah, he was really
Michael Orr. Of course, we know his story from the movie, but then, of course, we know the aftermath of that as well. Kellen Moore, the Boise State quarterback. Herman Moore. Maybe fewer people know that name, but he was a very talented wide receiver at Virginia. Yeah, he was amazing back in the early 90s. Terrence Metcalf.
Who was the guy from Georgia Tech that played? Wasn't he Moore too? The Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
That was so good, played for the Lions and was just awesome, just retired out of the blue. That guy, Calvin Johnson, that's who that was. That guy,
yes.
He's the most
Megatron.
One of the most dominant players I've ever seen in college and in the NFL.
Ryan Leaf on the list.
Yeah.
Ed King, Auburn offensive guard.
Great player.
Helped lead the Tigers to their first back-to-back 10-win seasons in school history in 88 and 89. Sebastian Janikowski, the Florida State kicker.
Not many kickers get in, but he'd be one to get in.
Mark Ingram, the first ever Heisman Trophy winner at the University of Alabama.
Now there's 4, right? There's been 4 win it now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Craig Ironhead Hayward on the list. He was fun to watch.
I was friends with him.
Were you really?
I used to
I could see that.
I worked out with him in Arizona and spent every waking moment with him for 6 months. He's passed away, though.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
He was a good dude. His son is a great player, too, as well.
That's right. Josh Heupel, the current Tennessee head football coach, on the list, more notably for his contributions on the football field for Oklahoma. He was a first-team All-American and Walter Camp Player of the Year back in 2000, Heisman Trophy for runner-up, and helped lead the Sooners to Bob's only national championship there at Oklahoma. John Henderson at Tennessee.
Yeah, he was good.
Yes, he was.
Jacksonville played for the Jags.
That's right.
Man, they had such a good defense. They were so fun to watch.
Leader of the Vols defensive unit that set a school record for fewest rushing yards allowed in 2000, 817 rushing yards that season at the University of Tennessee. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he was the real deal.
Garrison Hurst from Georgia.
Good player. It's hard to pick these.
Tell me about it. I can only vote for 12, and the coaches, you can only vote 2. So
the coaches, Saban and
who? Well, who would you vote for?
Well, I know who I'd vote for.
Urban?
Yeah, I would have to.
I feel obligated just because of the resume. I mean, listen,
he won 3 national championships.
Doesn't have the world's best, reputation, but the facts are the facts.
Well, yeah, reputation-wise, I don't know exactly. What did he do that was just so bad? Some of the people that coached for him, or coached, he had, but that's kind of like putting the parents in jail when the kids don't work out. It doesn't make sense to me.
Willie Gault also on the list. I'm surprised he's not in.
How is he not in?
I'm just telling you, I keep voting for him, but, he's one of the 12 that I think I have voted for every year. Alan Faneca is another one that is not in the Hall of Fame that I vote for. Yes, he did, but he was an LSU offensive guard back in '97. Consensus first-team All-American.
You have to be nominated.
Outland Trophy finalist, 2-time first-team All-SEC, Jacobs Blocking Trophy winner.
They ought to put those guys in automatically.
Just
that doesn't happen, though. I mean, it seems like if you might win the Jacobs Award, you ought to go straight in, first ballot. The best blocker in the SEC should be a lock-in Todd Lott-Cinch.
DJ Dozier, Penn State running back. I can't read today or yesterday or tomorrow.
He was good.
Ken Dorsey, the Hurricanes quarterback. Aaron Donald, he's making his first.
Where did he play college?
Pittsburgh.
I don't even remember him in college.
Yeah.
But I tell you one thing, he's fun to watch in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he dominates because he's so much quicker and faster than these big guys can't get and stay in front of him.
Kajana Carter, Penn State running back. Greg Carr, Auburn linebacker, back in 1984. And let's see here.
He's deceased as well.
Yes. Aaron Beasley.
He was a good guy.
West Virginia defensive back in the mid-'90s. Monte Ball, Wisconsin running back. And who else? Eric Anderson, a Michigan linebacker from the 1991 squad. So that's just a few of the names that I always forget about this, and it always feels like a final exam that you have to do your homework on. I'll never forget when we had Mickey Andrews on, really stumping for his player, Peter Warwick. in a big way on how.
As you should. I mean, he saw what the guy did every day.
Yeah.
And Peter Warwick was a dominant college player.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did in the NFL, but it's not the NFL.
No. This is college football Hall of Fame there in Atlanta.
And to be nominated, you have to be a consensus All-American.
Yeah. Right, really excited.
Joe Namath is not in the college football.
Correct. And will not be.
No.
And will not be.
Was not eligible.
But Antonio Langham will be inducted come this December. It was kind of neat not to see his name on this list. So
he was a dominant player, no doubt.
So coming up on the program today, you got us for the full 2 hours, by the way. If you'd like to give us a ring, you can do so at 256-576-4977. And he was supposed to swing by, and I got a call earlier today. Bill Hancock, the now retired Bill Hancock, the former executive director of the college football playoff.
Last week?
He got caught over at the Hilton right before the banquet started and just got caught into a conversation. Excuse me. Bill Hancock is going to join us here later on in this first hour. But there's also some other audio that I just didn't get a chance to get to last week from Destin, and just kind of wanted to flush because everything, I'm telling you, as much that went on, the final press conference, I did it again, Wes, or I don't know I don't know how much you read of Pat Forty or Dennis Dodd or fine journalists like that, in Ross Dellinger.
I'm just Ross Dellinger from Louisiana. So those guys occasionally.
Yeah.
But
there was a funny moment in the final press conference. Well, I say a funny moment. It was funny to me. So I asked the commissioner about 20 minutes into the press conference, why was it necessary to go public back in January of the SEC and the Big Ten's partnership, because so much is done behind closed doors on everything being a need-to-know basis. Well, that kind of got the snowball rolling towards an article that Pat Forty wrote.
Wasn't so long ago the Big Ten was with everybody but the SEC, right?
It felt that way.
Felt that way. They had a meeting saying.
Yeah, the alliance. He's, in fact, part of his answer that led to, oh, goodness, Heather Denich wrote an article about it. Pat Forty wrote an article about it, and so did Ross Dellinger as well. But there was an article written by Pat Forty on the expansion of the NCAA college basketball tournament, and his answer to me was kind of a dig at Pat Forty of being misquoted, that he was being misquoted. So that led Pat Forty to ask the following question.
Given what you've just laid out.
Yeah, there's a lot there, Pat.
There's a lot. Yeah.
We're going to be here a while.
But is there enough still binding Division I together? Is a basketball tournament enough to keep Division I together?
I don't know. Who in here wrote the nasty articles about me in the AQ comment? Anybody write those?
Oh, that's Pat, I think.
Oh, what is it?
So while he's saying that,
the nasty what now?
The AQ, the automatic qual.
Okay,
So evidently he was misquoted, and it was Pat Forty asking the question in regards to an article he wrote that he misquoted the SEC commissioner on.
Oh, so he was using his own
So that's
thing.
Why the commissioner went there of, okay, if you really want to go here. I mean, he kind of took a dig at Pat during my question.
That's good. That's what he ought to.
You tell me. We go back to the Transformation Committee.
Yeah.
You go back to the Transformation Committee. We asked a question early on, what binds Division I together? And when you're in those groups or you ask kind of broadly surveys, you receive a bunch of flowery language. It's supporting academic pursuits. Well, you can do that in Division III in a really great way. You know, I think the folks at Emory or at Hamilton College would argue they can meet that expectation. We can give a great student-athlete experience. Again, I think probably Washington University would say that. I have friends at Wheaton College who have wonderful experiences. So what is it that creates the bind in Division I? And I think it does come down to March. Now, that's an opinion. It's not analytics driven. Can it stay together? Yes. But I think there are pressures there that have to be recognized, and that's what I was attempting to communicate. And some of that is just as simple as at 68 when we assign 2 10 seeds to play each other, and then you have a North Carolina State that goes to the Final Four. You're looking at, well, we're putting 2 teams that could maybe make that same run and eliminating one of them up front rather than playing 15 and 16 seeds. I think that's the kind of stress I was talking about. When you and I visited and I said, look, I don't want to make headlines, which, by the way, I learned something that day. Never say you want to make headlines and then say anything after it. So I may have just made headlines. But it made headlines about tournament expansion. I've never suggested a number. I just think, in my perspective, in the Transformation Committee working group on championships, in which I wasn't involved, said you need to look at having 25% of the membership able to access the championship. Well, that predicts growth. So we've allowed Division I to grow. We have conferences solving their membership problem by inviting non-Division I members in, but we haven't modified the bracket size. I think common sense says you have to dig into that. Now, there are competitive issues, there are calendar issues, there are economic issues. But I do think that March can be kept together. That doesn't mean it stays exactly the same, but just the articles written after my comment and the reaction show you how unique that experience is to our culture. And I mean that, I meant that then respectfully, and I mean that now respectfully. But we also have to recognize the differences that do exist.
So that is the commissioner basically saying, hey, if Division I keeps on growing, and especially on the basketball side, it is growing, then it's only logical to think about expanding the tournament and not necessarily a 15 playing a 15, but he's talking about more 10s playing 10s, 9s playing 9s, maybe even, 8s playing 8s. So in looking in that realm to expand the basketball tournament. And being quoted properly, too, so that's why I'm playing exactly what the commissioner had to say rather than misquoting him in an article.
We'll see. I just think anything at this point to the NCAA, to everybody. I mean, because what you're going to have is this open season. There's going to be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. It's coming. Everybody's trying to line their pockets.
So that would be the other thing. There's a couple of court cases that are supposed to come down this fall. And I realize everyone is writing about and talking about the settlement that just took place here a couple of weeks ago.
But
that's not the end game.
That's why I don't understand why they settled. I do not understand that. I think it was a mistake. The time will find. We'll see.
Another big headline that I wanted to at least get your temperature on, just because of, just how dynamic that LSU offense was, and we're starting to see it get some big dollar marks as Justin Jefferson has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. $140 million, 110 of it is guaranteed. In fact, of that $110 million guaranteed, he's getting a check for $89 million at his signing.
No, he's not.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
No, he's not.
Yeah, no, that is a large chunk.
Yeah, I guarantee $45 million or $50 million.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I don't know why you would do that.
Uncle Sam right there.
Why you wouldn't
knocking on your door.
Structure it out. Maybe he is. Maybe they just making. Maybe he has it structured where he gets paid some the rest of his life. Yeah. That's what I would do.
The $110 million guaranteed is $26 million more than A.J. Brown. And that was earlier this offseason. So he is now the
Justin
highest
Jefferson
paid non-quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah. Well,
at the moment.
Yeah. So it's amazing that year that there were going to be 3 or 4 people drafted off that, and he was one of them. Jefferson was one of them.
Yep.
And he's the brother of the Jefferson that played quarterback there.
Who transferred to Jacksonville State?
No.
Am I thinking of a wrong?
Yes.
The other one?
This was the one that was there during the national championship game for LSU in 2011.
Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah, and he's the one that was smoking pot with allegedly the Honey Badger when they all got caught, and that was it for him going to the NFL or having a shot. He wasn't a bad player. He wasn't very consistent, but he's running an offense that is not very conducive to a quarterback.
He played for a while in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, I mean he was a talented dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he just obviously never really. I mean, it hurt him when he got that all went down. He's the one that I think he's the one that jumped the fence. But going back to that year, 2019, you look at that year, and there were supposed to be 3 or 4 drafted, and they end up 14 or 15 off that team were drafted. And you look all around the league, they're still playing. Jamar Chase. The wide receiver might be the best wide receivers in history.
Yeah.
And, the quarterback was as hot as any, made unbelievable. You go back and watch some of the plays he made, they're as good as any of you've seen ever in college football.
I mean, the way they ripped right through their schedule, going 15-0, Ed O, the coach, that was and we were there at the national championship game. That was actually the COVID coming out party there on January the 13th, 2020.
That's right.
That everyone – anyway, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Wow, that lineup, goodness gracious. By the way, the quarterback I was thinking of was Ryan Perrilloux.
There you go.
Who went from LSU to Jacksonville State during the heyday of one Les Miles.
Yes. He was going to be the LSU savior.
Yes.
For about 30 minutes.
Yeah. So, there you go. Let's go ahead and take our first time out. Got plenty more audio to get to from the spring meetings as we're live here at Woody Anderson Ford. Phone lines open to you. Bill Hancock, the former executive director. That's going to feel weird to introduce him later on here this hour. He'll join us here as we're live from Woody Anderson Ford, but phone lines open to you at 256-576-4977.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at 5. Bingo every Monday night too starting at 7. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
HydroFest returns to Gunnersville Lake June 29th and 30th with 4 classes of boats racing on the fastest water in the South with 2 days of racing. Gates open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and the fully restored world record speed holder, Miss US 1, will be on the water for exhibition runs for the first time in 62 years. There'll be food trucks, a kids splash zone, and other entertainment, making HydroFest the best place to be on the last weekend in June. Tickets start at just $15 for a day pass. Tickets and tailgate spaces available at GunnersvilleLakeHydroFest.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Bill Hancock about 12 minutes away, back inside the showroom here on campus at Woody Anderson Ford. Always nice to start a new month here at Woody Anderson Ford, and Coach Jack Crow is going to join us at the top of the next hour as well. Just got that confirmation, Brian. Just want to give you a heads up. I'll send you his contact info here during the next break.
Always good to hear from Coach Crow.
Yes, indeed. Of all the coaches that spoke, boy, there was a couple that really stood out. Lane Kiffin among them had this to say on the expanded playoffs coming up this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad to everything. You know, that's good because maybe you're in one of those slots that you get in and you're not in the top 4, but then you got to win a lot more games. So I do think it's really exciting for college football, and to have more teams involved, and as you get closer to it, you know, obviously more than 12, you know, you're whatever, week 9, week 10, you know, just kind of makes a lot of people feel like they have a shot. So I think it will be really exciting, you know, to hopefully be a part, but just to watch.
So he's talking about the potential of a playoff run.
Yeah, I don't really think about the championship stuff. I mean, there's way more important. That's the outcome. There's way more about the process and putting together the roster. And now that the roster basically is done, you know, to go start working with them and get them to gel together, and all the work with some new assistant coaches and all those things, and then worry about that stuff way down the road. So I am very excited about it because we do have a lot of really, not just really good players, but really neat kids. And we really have a really good building of people. And so I really like that. And so now I just got a lot of work to put them together.
So one other comment, this was on the day that the football coaches first met. He was asked why the meeting took so long. In fact, Lane Kiffin was scheduled to talk at 5 o'clock, and he did not talk to the media until 6.
I think we just got backed up. And I think we, took a lot of time kind of discussing roster numbers. And really that was the first time we were able to be together outside of really group texts and to kind of bounce different ideas off and things. And also, the education, from William King and the commissioner to us about where things were. So as far as the direction that we're headed.
And the direction that it looks like it is starting to be, we talked quite a bit about it last week, and that is a roster cap potentially of 85.
Well, I think if it was in the reduction category, I think there's some safety issues there. How do you practice? How do you play? Are the numbers as low as to where you've got to overplay players? Maybe in some games where you hadn't in the past. So there are some very big safety concerns in the ability to practice well enough to develop young players also in order to have enough. Because again, this is not, we want to be like the NFL some ways, but not other ways. So you want to make these limits, but we don't have practice squads. We don't have the ability, to have players to just bring in each week and try them out and add players when there's injuries. So it's really complicated.
There is no doubt about that, Coach. And ultimately, change is coming.
I don't know that I have a great sense of where that's going. I think tomorrow morning meetings are going to have a lot to do with that with athletic directors. Obviously something's coming, and we'll just adapt to whatever that is. And I feel like we've done a good job at Ole Miss of adapting, to rule changes and different things, whether that's been portal or NIL or even initially before with rule changes of, offensive play. And so whatever they end up coming up with, we'll just try to make the most out of it.
And that is something that Lane Kiffin has done very well, and that is using the rules that are in place ultimately.
Well, I think that we're just always trying to maximize whatever the situation is and the parameters are. And I do think that our collective's done a great job. Our donors have done a great job. Fans, in order to have that, led by Walker. But and our coaches have done a really good job assembling talent. But I don't think it was really like, okay, here's this, all chips are in for this one season thing. I think we happened to have a lot of really good players that could have went to the NFL come back. We signed a lot of really good portal guys. And so maybe it looks that way, but that was not by design. I think we just won 11 games, so it wasn't one of those we're in this tough year. We've had some tough years, and so let's just go all in and try to save our job type thing. I just think it happened to work that way by a lot of steps along the way to get there.
So he's talking about it wasn't like Ohio State. It seems like he was throwing darts at them, did it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, it's the win projected totals. Jesse Simonton had kind of an up or down feeling on the win totals. We kind of went through this a couple of weeks ago when it first came out, Wes. But Jesse, a friend of the program, had this to say on the win totals. In fact, the win total for Ole Miss is set at 9.5, and Jesse is of the belief, and I believe you were too, that it's too low, that 9.5 too low.
Well, it'll be a disappointing season if they unless they do really good in the playoffs, because I think with 3 losses, they'll go to the playoffs. Because their losses more likely will be to Georgia, Texas. I think they play Texas, right? If they have 3 losses, those would be 2 of them. we're going to see how good, because, Ole Miss laid an egg against Georgia last year. Probably their worst game they played.
Yeah.
Against the best team they played.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Alabama, you could argue, was better than Georgia because they beat them. But at the time they played them, I think Georgia was the best team in the country.
I did want to tell folks, Jesse also wrote Auburn at 7-5. He believes is just right of a prediction. And
I think if the quarterback can play better than he did last year, and I think he will, because people, he had a lot of balls dropped.
He's got better talent around him this year than he did last year.
Yeah.
Peyton Thorne.
I think they can do a little better in 7-5.
Alabama at 9-5, according to Jesse, also just right.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think Alabama has an elite squad because of the quarterback. The quarterback, offensive line will be as good, if not better, than it was last year, I believe.
Yeah.
The running back room's good. The receiver room is supposed to be the best it's been in a long time, even though they lost so many players. That, to me, is yet to be seen, right?
Yeah.
But that's the word we're getting with some of the 2 freshmen that they're just raving about down there. We'll see how.
And they're working in a big way this, I guess May.
Yeah.
In May, there was a lot of reports on workouts and how much work the Alabama team is doing.
And they don't play Ole Miss.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
There's
maybe in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe you're right. Maybe in Atlanta.
Maybe. We do need to take our final time out. The former executive director of the college football playoff, Bill Hancock, is set to join us on the other side. We're live here from Woody Anderson Ford. We will hear from Kalen DeBoer and those comments that I mentioned in hour number 2.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
HydroFest returns to Guntersville Lake June 29th and 30th with 4 classes of boats racing on the fastest water in the South with 2 days of racing. Gates open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and the fully restored world record speed holder, Miss US 1, will be on the water for exhibition runs for the first time in 62 years. There'll be food trucks, a kids splash zone, and other entertainment, making HydroFest the best place to be on the last weekend in June. Tickets start at just $15 for a day pass. Tickets and tailgate spaces available at GuntersvilleLakeHydroFest.com.
For 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers, and we invest in supporting you. We use our own technologies to automate, to provide you the best support possible. And we have the strongest guarantees in the industry. I just can't tell you I'm going to provide you great support. I have to prove it to you with my actions.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan@danaldridgelaw.com. dan@danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to stay warm as we head into the overnight. It's also going to be humid across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only dropping into the mid and upper 60s. I'm also going to hold on to the opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. Wednesday is going to look very identical to Tuesday in that we're talking about a mostly cloudy to overcast sky. Temperatures are going to climb into the low and mid 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
I got a star on my car and one on my chest, a gun on my hip and the right to arrest. I'm the guy who's a boss on this highway, so watch out what you're doing when you're driving my way. If you break the law, you'll hear from me. I know I'm working for the state. I'm the Highway Patrol.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford.
Where did we pull that one from?
I don't know.
That's Junior Brown.
Yeah, that's
let's just say I have a very wide taste in music.
By the way, I just got the high sign. T-Bob Hebert is going to join us in hour number 2 as well. His LSU Tigers, are they still playing baseball? I believe they are. Our next guest, though, is getting ready for, we'll figure out how many Olympics this will be as the Paris Games right around the corner. But this is going to feel weird to say. The former executive director of the college football playoff joins us. Is that the first time you've been introed that way, sir? How are you?
Steve, that is absolutely the first time. And I think if there's one person who should introduce me like that, it should be you. So
it was great to see you from afar, but I never got to see you, face to face down in Destin. What was?
Yeah, our plan was to get you over to my place and hold you hostage.
No,
you got me on the.
Invited him over to the Ocean Club.
Oh, man, you missed it.
He missed out on.
He missed on the Ocean Club.
Boy, that place was packed.
We would have held you hostage to leave.
Well, hey, Wes, I'm sorry, but I need to get a medical report. How are you getting along?
I am better than I was. Not better than I ever was, but better than I was. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about you, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Be careful.
I am.
That pickleball will get you. It'll jump up and bite you, so be careful.
Everything you ever hurt that didn't get fixed, if you ever played a sport, you're going to find it. That's for sure.
Amen to that. I think, Wes, you are the 4th person I know who's had a pretty bad injury from pickleball.
Oh, yeah. So I was reading about how the insurance companies are losing. Some are losing money or not making as much as they were anticipated because they anticipate all the pickleball injuries. And what it is you think that it's not you're not going to move that much of this and that, and then you get in the heat of it and you play. Singles is really doubles is not that bad. I don't see how you can get hurt in doubles, but unless you have an old injury, you're going to find it. You're going to find that old injury.
Well,
there's no question.
Let's get into last week. What was? Boy, there was a lot going on last week, Bill. So, how about from your perspective? What did you take out of the spring meetings there in Destin?
Well, Steve, let me say this first of all. It's one of the greatest events on the college sports calendar because everyone's together and everyone is cordial and nobody's lost any games yet. There haven't been any questionable calls. So I just love I love spring meeting season. I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this year, and basically they're all the same. But part of what makes the SEC so special is, of course, is Destin. So I love going to that meeting. I love being around the people, and the media has all kinds of questions, but frankly, nobody has any answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was – I remember Commissioner Sahi talking Monday. I went up to Jimmy Himes right afterwards and asked him, how many ways can you ask the same question and get the same answer? Because it felt like we had about maybe 11 to 12 different ways to ask the same question, Bill.
Well, and the thing is, nobody knows the answers. And Greg might give you some answer, and I don't know, the next commissioner might give you something different. And they're not trying to hide, or they're not trying to avoid anything. They just don't know the answers.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, you can tell in talking to we talked to the Auburn athletic director on Thursday, and certainly heard from the Alabama athletic director, but even talking to most of the athletic directors of just budgeting and planning ahead for this settlement, which I don't even know if the settlement is, the end-all, be-all here moving forward. There's just a lot going on, Bill.
Yeah, there is. And we faced we've said that a lot of times in my career in college athletics. But this one seems to be different. This one seems to be a time where people are trying to do the right thing. They're going to hope to get in the position of doing the right thing, but nobody has exactly said what the right thing will be.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we also do know is the expansion of the college football playoff, and there's already been multiple reports on that it's already going to go to 14 rather than 12. What if 12's the right number? I mean, just moving forward with the 12, how excited are you to see this play out this football season, Bill?
Oh, I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be a great event. I think those 4 first-round games will just be awesome. To have games of that caliber on campus is really not happened across the country in the way that it's going to happen on that third weekend of December. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be watching from a beach somewhere with a cold drink in hand and just enjoying every bit.
Who's going to give Alabama the trophy?
Whoever gets the trophy will get it from our new executive director, Rich Clark, who is a great guy, and y'all are going to get to know him, and you'll find out what a super guy he really is. And you'll be going, hey Wes, you'll be going, who was that guy we used to talk to?
No.
I'm gonna be wearing your butt out trying to get me backdoor on that committee.
All you gotta do is retire, Wes.
I am retired.
I'm telling you that. Well, I mean, really retire.
So, you look at, now that you've stepped away, if you had a choice about how many teams should be in, what do you think? What is your number? I mean, I'm a kind of an 8 guy. I think 8's enough. I think if you lose 3 games in a season, which we'll see, with 12 to 15 teams, you're going to have a 3-loss team in there. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's to me, that's not a special season. Some people can disagree, and I get it. But to me, what is your number you think's the right number?
I think we need to try 12 for a little while and see how it goes. Another thing we don't know is what will conference expansion do to the postseason? Will there be more teams that probably deserve to be in there or earned a spot in there that don't get chosen? That's why 14 came up. It was just, is 12 going to be enough with these larger conferences? And while you ask about 8, I'm glad you brought that up because I think this is important. We did talk about 8 back when we were putting the expansion together. But the problem with 8 was this. We knew there would have to be spots for conference champions. And at the time, of course, that was going to be 6. It's now gone to 5. But with 8, say you had 6 conference champions. Well, then you would have had only 2 at-large spots. And now with a 4-team CFP, back in the day when we only had 4, they were all at-larges. So we would have been going from 4 at-larges, 2 at-larges. And no one thought that was going to be the right thing. There wasn't anybody who said, let's start off and let's reduce the number of at-large spots. That wasn't going to fly.
And obviously not having a conference champion eligible was the big hang-up for the other conferences, I would assume, as well, right?
Well, yeah, it just came down to, hey, conference champions need to mean something. And in the 4, they gave you a shot, but everybody thought, no, we need to, and this was well before the Florida State, Alabama, Georgia question of last year. This was back in 2000. And everybody just thought we need to be able to reward conference champions. So 12 was the logical number. It gave us our spots for conference champions, but then it gave us a nice window for at-large teams. Of course, now it's going to be 5 champions and then 7 at-large teams. Frankly, that has a good feel to me anyway.
I would agree. But I do wonder, you mentioned those on-campus games and I'm assuming the electricity that everyone's going to feel in those games of an on-campus event. I mean, I can only assume what kind of numbers this is going to drive eyeballs-wise and help this sport even ratchet up to another level, Bill.
It will. It absolutely will. And having more teams in the hunt will be good for the game. I was an advocate for 4. I thought 4 worked, and we had 4 for 10 years, and it did work. But to have more participation will be really good for college football.
Do you think it's going to take away, though, that every game matters so much? That's what I loved about college football. Is that every game is so important. You couldn't afford to make a mistake. That makes every season. You
have to almost pitch a perfect game. Washington had to pitch a perfect game last year.
Yeah,
they had to.
Yeah, or they're not in.
Yeah.
Whereas, to me, it takes away. You guys might be totally right. That's the way I feel. That's still my concern, is that, how special it is to have a team with 3 losses in a playoff.
Well, obviously, Wes, you know your stuff. You're as big a college football fan other than Steve and me, of anybody I know. But it's a good point. We're going to have to see. But let me say this to that. At Halloween, I suspect we will have at least 30, maybe more, teams that feel like they have a real chance to get in the playoff. And so those games in November are going to mean more than ever before. And there'll be a 3-loss team in there. I'm convinced of it. And maybe
I think there'll be more than one. Yeah.
I'm convinced of that. But boy, we're going to add a lot of juice to November.
Well, and also a lot of games as well. And so I'm going to ask the question now because it just feels like adding games and this talk of the potential cap of a roster feels like we're talking out of both sides of our mouth, Bill.
Well, the roster cap is you follow the discussion. There's a lot of debate about that. And I'm not sure why we would want to do anything to hurt football. We're all going to be, however, of course, we're all going to be under a financial crunch. We all know that. But I think we need to be careful and not do anything to hurt football.
Ultimately, how much of what the committee does on a week in and week out basis maybe has a little bit of influence from the old BCS days? Or is there any influence from that time from college football, Bill?
Say that again, Steve. Not quite sure I followed you.
So what we all went through at the BCS, is there any contributing factors that the committee kind of still uses today that was being utilized during the BCS time?
Oh, I see. I don't think so. With the BCS, we had those polls of coaches polls, and then sports writers, and
the Harris poll. Yeah,
Harris poll. That who knows what each of those members were thinking. What we have now is way better because it is an educated, informed debate among 13 football experts who sit across from each other and compare the teams. So I know what we have now with CFP is way better than the old BCS ranking system.
Ultimately, when you head over to Paris, I assume you're going to Paris. Am I assuming correct? How many Olympics will this be for you?
This will be number 16.
Woo.
They're kind of like dog years. So in dog years, I think I'm 144 years old.
Do you have a favorite games other than Atlanta, of course, back in '96? I know that's at the very top.
Atlanta was great. Those venues were fantastic. The competition was outstanding. I guess probably Sydney. The weather was super. The Australian people were just great. The games were fascinating. But I like them all. I've liked it. I've enjoyed every one of the 16. I like Sochi. I like being in Russia. I kept pinching myself saying, Bill, you were in Russia, for crying out loud. And London was fantastic. London was great because there was an Olympic park that was adjacent to the press center where I worked. And if I wanted to go have lunch someday, I could get somebody to cover my desk for me, and I could just walk over and watch some preliminaries of track and field. Oh, man, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well,
so how was the food in Russia?
Poor.
I mean, what's the staple over there? Potatoes, isn't it?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. They like
that old potato they like the best.
Yeah. No, it was poor, but I was hungry, so I ate.
I can't thank you enough for hopping on. It was good to see you from afar, and we will be in touch, I promise.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, hey, Wes, don't let him forget me, okay? Don't let him forget me.
Yeah, I still remember your name. I'm doing good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Take care, Wes.
That's Bill Hancock, the former executive director of the College Football Playoff. Still sounds weird to say that. We're jammed up in hour number 2. The one and only T-Bob Hebert is going to join us. And coming up next, Jack Crow. He is going to join us next as we're live here from Woody Anderson Ford.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
There's nothing better than a perfect cookie loaded with the finest all-natural premium ingredients. And you'll find these perfect cookies baked fresh every day at Cookie Fix. Choose from rotating flavors like classic chocolate chip, cranberry jumble, oatmeal toffee, and many others. Or take home one of their dough-to-go selections and bake them fresh at home. Cookie Fix also has cookie cakes for special celebrations, and they offer catering and shipping. Find out more and order online at cookiefix.com. In Twickenham Square, 300 Pelham Avenue. Cookie Fix. Grab some cookies and spread some smiles.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
In basketball, we lead it off with betting on baseball. San Diego Padres infielder Tupisha Marcano is under investigation by Major League Baseball for allegedly betting on baseball and could be subject to a lifetime ban. The MLB is looking into allegations that Marcano bet on games involving the Pittsburgh Pirates while he was on the team. He was injured last season. Meantime, from the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings and wide receiver Justin Jefferson have agreed to a 4-year extension. That's the richest contract in the NFL for a non-quarterback. Jefferson will get $110 million guaranteed in the deal. That's worth as much as $140 million, with more than $88 million due at signing. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano.
I think that Jefferson belongs at the top of this market right now. A monster year this year from Jamar Chase. Maybe he goes past him. But right now, I think you have to say Justin Jefferson, given the age, given the production, given that it was time for him to get an extension, deserves to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. And CeeDee Lamb, coming off the year he had, I think has a strong case to be the second highest paid.
And Jefferson has the most receiving yards in league history through a player's first 4 seasons. Sad news from the NFL. Larry Allen, one of the most dominant offensive linemen in the league during his 12-year career, mostly with the Dallas Cowboys, has died. He was 52. The Cowboys say Allen died suddenly on Sunday while on vacation with his family in Mexico. He was named an All-Pro 6 consecutive years from 1996 through 2001. Inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2013. He said, few words, let the blocking take care of it. Allen was once bench pressed 700 pounds.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. Justin Jefferson just got paid. I'll tell you what that means for CeeDee Lamb and other receivers who are looking for new contracts. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Just got through talking to Bill Hancock, the former executive director of the College Football Playoff, as we're here in the showroom here at Woody Anderson Ford, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. Always fun to talk football. There is a lot of, there's a decent amount to talk about. I don't know how much substance, but there is certainly a lot to chew on with Coach Jack Crow, who's kind enough to join us. Coach, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm well, and I appreciate the phone call. I always look forward to talking to Wes. He and I, when you've been on the 50-yard line of the Iron Bowl a couple of times together, may have been 3. You sort of feel like you have a shared space in life.
No question.
Anyway, glad to be here, guys.
Well, what did you make of all the hubbub? We were down in Destin last week, Coach, and there was a lot going on, from an expanded football season to shrinking a roster, which
the deal about walk-ons, and what the real opportunity is. Wes, the guys that sort of drove your football team every day were the guys that were trying to make it. They were
no question,
and some of them did, and some of some of the funnest times that nobody ever saw was when everybody gathered together and that walk-on won a scholarship. Can you remember that? Because I know what happened when you were playing.
Oh, there's no question. And not only that, it's kind of the guys that I have so much respect for, and I've talked to Steve. Steve's heard me talk. Guys that never played were at practice for the 4 years I was there. Never played. And how successful those guys, Coach Crow, are in life.
Yeah.
It's amazing how successful those guys are.
Yep. And we I don't know, we just how far away from true amateur sports can we get? Which I don't know. You know, I live in politics now. I don't know. You don't have to go all into that, but I live in politics now, and the idea that we are losing amateur sports as a concept. We're losing. You talk about substance. There's some substance to really losing the concept of here's a field of opportunity for whoever is willing to go out there. Hey, Michael Jordan didn't get a basketball uniform on his ninth grade basketball team.
That's right.
Okay, now, what are we doing here?
Well, Baker Mayfield was a walk-on. Ended up the first pick of the draft.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I made the assumption we were talking about that, and I guess some people have confirmed it is because of the fact that a scholarship players under Title IX counts as a non-scholarship player counts as in football counts as a scholarship. And that's the reason they were going to have to do it, that's kind of the whole rule's ridiculous in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, how does somebody who doesn't have a scholarship counts as a scholarship? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
You know, Title IX, and I remember when it came out and I cussed it because, not to get into a personal story that really doesn't have much interest, but the president at Livingston, I was a head coach. This is 1978. He calls me in between the 77 and 78 season. He says, Jack, I just want to tell you we're taking 1/3 of your football budget because we've got to create 2 women's sports. Arrogantly, which I didn't back off. I said, no, you just need to figure out who's going to be coaching your football team. It ain't going to be me. And that was designed to create opportunity. All right. Even though it was shocking in its implementation at the time. To me personally, I can remember the day. It changed my life. It changed whether I could put food on my table. Okay. But over time, I had the first female to ever play and score in an NCAA football game at Jacksonville State. I don't know if you remember that. Ashley Martin.
I don't.
I realized what a great thing it was. I have a female athletes just thrill me. So I see that.
No, I'm not against that. I love the opportunity. It just doesn't make any sense that walk-ons count as scholarship players. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, you don't have anything to compare football with on the other side. You can compare basketball to basketball. Okay, that's an equalizer. But the problem is football is just different. You start trying to throw in volleyball and these. There's no 22 starters in a female sport. So when you start trying to do an equalizer, I mean, the concept is not right. So anyway, it's a sad day. Amateur sports, like I said, I'm a politician. So I'll bring this to your attention because I'm sure you're not following the same information stream that I'm following, but this will stick its head up somewhere and be important. But the U.S. Olympic Committee is they have been evaluated on the law they were created by, and really in a 2-year, $2 million study out of the Department of Commerce. The report's 300 pages long. I can just about recite every page. It basically indicts the U.S. Olympic Committee for having lost the concept of amateur sports. And we're not talking about college athletics here. We're just talking about the true world of amateur sports. And so football has just followed suit. NCAA football is just following suit. And the trickle down is scary as hell, Wes.
Yes, I agree.
Where does this stop? You know, a kid can move 4 blocks and be immediately eligible. It hadn't quite happened yet in Alabama. But 4 blocks, he's playing for another high school team.
They said that NIL's coming to the high schools, but I don't think they'll be able to afford it.
Well, it already is in the high schools, Wes. And the concept of a kid moving 4 blocks in 9th grade because he's bigger and faster than everybody else, you know, what are we going to do to communities at that point in time and what sports means? You do know there's a lot of people that are not excited about buying their tickets in the SEC. You know that, Wes. You talk to people. There are a lot of people that are, I don't know whether I'm going to buy these tickets or not. Right, Wes?
You're hearing a little bit of that, yes.
Yeah, you're going to hear more of that. And, you know, of course, television is going to keep it alive forever and keep paying the bills. But the burden of what the real fan is, when amateurism is gone, there really are a lot of fans that really think that, you know, that sports is about, amateur sports is about character building. You know, it's about building the future of citizenship, military readiness, and everything else that's right. And there's a lot of people that invest on that premise at every SEC school.
So, Coach, I'm sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. At some point, you know, we're going to have an issue here.
So where I wanted to go, since we've kind of gone down this rabbit hole, I had a couple of conversations last week in Destin, and 2 of which in particular that told me that this was off the record, but they both mentioned the word extortion, of this having some extortion feel to it. Coach, I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Sounds like it to me. Sounds like it to me. You know, and they keep running to the Senate. Keep running to Congress for Congress to, you know, do something about this. And gut level is, when that report was created about amateurism, the recommendation of that committee, and this will never happen, was to create a czar of sports in this country, all sports. That was a recommendation. That'll never happen. We're not creating more government under what we, you know, under the climate that we're in now. And I agree with that, to be honest with you. But change is in the air, and extortion. All we've got to do is hit a few really bad moments, and we may be about to have them. A few bad moments, such as USA Gymnastics. All we got to do is hit a few bad moments here. You can call it extortion. You can call it a lot of things, but it's bad for this country. And, in this climate, it could happen. So, anyway, God dang, Wes, I didn't need to be on a soapbox. And you put me God dang on a God dang soapbox.
Oh, it's
well, with the potential of so much about to change. That's why, this game's worth fighting for, Coach.
I think the game will survive. But let me say, if somebody thinks I don't think and believe in the game and what sports is about this country, I think it will definitely survive. But we're headed to the. Teddy Roosevelt in 1905 had all the congressional votes to eliminate football. Y'all know this story?
No, I don't know this.
I will tomorrow.
There was about six kids that got killed playing football. Congress got all the votes, brought it to Teddy Roosevelt. We got to outlaw college football. College football started in the Ivy League in college. That's where football started. In 1905, the negativity around the game got to his office. And change happened. A lot of changes came out of that. And I think we're headed to a time of change. The people like the NCAA, they can't manage it. I think that, to be honest with you, and I really think the world of our commissioner. He and I had a relationship before he became the commissioner. I think it's going to overwhelm him. And change is going to happen. How bad the catastrophe has to be? Extortion is a pretty strong word. But that's enough to get you in a committee in Congress. And woe be it when they get a hold of it. But, it just keeps looking to me like when it gets long enough and bad enough, they're going to straighten it out for you. It's probably not going to be appreciated the way they straighten it out, but as long as it's still amateur and kids have opportunity. Wes, where would you be if you hadn't had the opportunities? Where would I be without the opportunities? How many people could we put in a room with and say, did the opportunities of sports mean anything to your life? How many rooms could you fill up, Wes?
No, there's no question. To me, it's the people outside of football that are using the people against each other so they can collect a check. That's what I see going on.
I'm right there with you, Wes.
So sooner or later, somebody needs to do something about it. And when the Supreme Court made the ruling they did on football, that's opened the gate for anybody to sue anybody and win. And until they close that gate, nothing can be done. That's the thing about it. Really, nothing can be done. Because there's always going to be another lawyer wanting to sue to get his. Yeah. And they've opened the floodgates. Rightfully or wrongfully, I don't know. I think it's wrong what they're doing. Everybody knew the rules of the game when they started playing. It's not like somebody didn't get what they were supposed to get, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
it. So it to me, this needs to be fixed and fixed now. But it can't be fixed by anybody other than They're going to have the antitrust. And listen, the players deserve a piece of the pie. I'm not saying they don't.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not saying – but suing is not the way to get it. I mean, the way to get it is to come to an agreement. But there's nobody pulling in the same directions.
That's it.
And even if they agree now, because of what happened in the Supreme Court, it won't matter. Somebody's still going to sue. So, and now they've settled this, it's going to open the floodgates, I believe. I mean, you're going to have.
It's going to cause everything to come together and create change. I think what we're going to see on the field, Wes, somewhere through all of this, is what sport is really about. I think we're going to see it. I think a team that believes in culture. I don't mean like
well, you're going to see what we're going to see is some Texas A&Ms that come unraveled because of
exactly. And
yeah.
we're going to see.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Wes. You talk about a playoff run like they're talking about with 12 teams. You're not going to do that just because you spent a lot of money on players. You're going to be tested and the way these schedules are coming together, you're about to have some goddamn gut checks, man.
There's no question
and
about
what
that.
is going to win is fourth quarter character that's built in culture. You know exactly what this is. And I think as the message resonates on the field, and it's going to take a little while for all this to play out, I think people will, I think the ship would be righted. I think that there's going to be some like the quarterback that went from Florida, and now he's at Arizona. He was at Arizona State. He got promised millions of dollars. He's at Georgia now, and he's suing Florida for $13 million. You remember this deal?
Yep.
You know the deal I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. I fought the whole time. Kid was going to Miami, changed to Florida. Was supposed to get $3 million or something like that, and then it all fell through, and he ended up going to Arizona. Now he's at Georgia.
Yeah. And when that course case hit, and what happens in the court around just ridiculous kind of stuff that will be played out in that courtroom, and you're looking at the same time at the fact that character is always going to win football games, and character that's built out of culture, and culture that's built out of a common commitment of guys to the jersey they got on their back and how much money they got in their bank account. And these things are going to play out, I think, 2 or 3 years down the road. The reality of what competitive amateur sports is about, it's undeniable. I mean, is football going to be sustained? Yes. Is competitive athletics going to win out? Yes. I don't think there's any doubt about it. We're just going to have to go through a lot of crap, to get to the reality of it. Is this going to end up back in Congress because of some just controversy or tragedy or whatever? Yeah, it's going to end up. It may end up on the president's desk, just like it did with Teddy Roosevelt. So, anyway, you guys just keep selling the story. I got another job. I got a job training coaches. I don't have little coaches, young coaches. Because I tell you what now, they hadn't got down to the 12-year-old little girl playing softball yet. So I got my respite where anytime you want to see it, walk out to your local park and watch those little girls playing softball or watch those 13-year-old boys playing football. You want to see it, it's still there. It's still there. And we'll get it straightened out maybe before this generation has to live through it.
Coach, we always appreciate the time you give us. And I promise next time we will talk football. We will talk about the season that is coming, because I feel like I know less heading into this media days than maybe in the history of me going to media days. I need to do my homework.
Character will still create separation, and in the fourth quarter, you may have the best athletes that make the most money, but when you get hit in the mouth hard enough, long enough, that money goes away, don't it, Wes?
There's no question about that. That money's not going to save you.
See you, Coach. Oh, goodness. We always get so much because it's great insight on the former Jacksonville State and Arkansas head football coach, and certainly his time there with Pat Dye down on the Plains in Auburn in the mid-'80s as well. There's no one more plugged in and knows his stuff better and can articulate it quite like Coach Jack Crow.
No question.
We go from that to the millennial snowflake. Yeah, we're going to go from a thespian to TikTok.
Yeah, pretty much.
T-Bob Hebert is set to join us on the other side as we are live here at Woody Anderson Ford. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms can include pain, heaviness, aching, fatigue, or swelling at the end of the day. If this has been the case, then Varicosity Vein Center can come to your aid. Evaluation and treatment of the veins is performed as an outpatient, utilizes the latest, minimally invasive techniques, and is covered by most insurances. After treatment, patients may resume most normal activities without delay. Varicosity Vein Center now has 3 North Alabama locations, one in Huntsville on South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road. Our new locations include Madison at Madison Hospital Complex and Coleman at the Coleman Regional Sports Medical Center. You can call 256-715-7151 to set up your appointment with one of our experienced and compassionate team members, or you can visit online at varicosityveincenter.com. Varicosity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Hydrofest returns to Gunnersville Lake June 29th and 30th with 4 classes of boats racing on the fastest water in the South with 2 days of racing. Gates open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and the fully restored world record speed holder, Miss US 1, will be on the water for exhibition runs for the first time in 62 years. There'll be food trucks, a kids splash zone, and other entertainment, making Hydrofest the best place to be on the last weekend in June. Tickets start at just $15 for a day pass. Tickets and tailgate spaces available at GunnersvilleLakeHydrofest.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville,
Gunners Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunners Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunners Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunners Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunners Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Handshake Barbershop, a vintage barbershop feel where you can catch up with an old friend and maybe make a new one. We still do classic men's haircuts, beard trims, and hot towel straight razor shaves. Plus, we offer more modern, trendy haircut services. Enjoy arcade games and rock and roll spinning on vinyl while you're here too. Book your appointment online at handshakebarbershop.com. Everything you love about your favorite barbershop, but with our own special DNA. In Arab, Gunnersville, and now at Cherokee Ridge Country Club. Online at handshakebarbershop.com.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, along with Wes Neighbor, Steve Moulton back here with you. Thought you might be coming back with this. I picked a bad, you can barely hear it, but that's the end of the third quarter music there from the Fightin' Tiger Band from Louisiana State University. And right now, LSU is up 3-2, top of the fifth. Yes, and that is the one and only. He is the millennial snowflake, the television star as well, as he was just on the rally a few weeks ago. He was up there in Chicago as T-Bob Hebert is kind enough to join us. What do you say, T-Bob, TV man?
Steve, West was happening, boys. My dog's going to be quiet. We know it's Monday. I got some salmon just came out of the oven. I got some broccoli about to be done. Got some edamame coming up. Got the rice ready to go. We just got done with a little daddy-daughter dance recital. So we're out here making it, and I have a full bourbon poured, and we're watching some of this LSU. Come on, baby! Yes. Baseball game right now.
So LSU has struggled all year. Everybody was in a panic, and now the team is coming along.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, 3-12 start to the SEC, and then they finished 10-5 with a gotta have it sweep against Ole Miss to get to that 13 win number. And somewhere in the flames of that adversity, this team was forged anew. Because then they went to Hoover, they played really well there, made it all the way to the championship, where it knocked off by Tennessee 4-3. And then even in this regional, dropping on Saturday UNC, but just gritty, hard-fought innings sent, staring down, 18 innings and 12 hours of baseball yesterday. Find a way to force this game. Come on, get out of St. Helmers. This freaking game's locked in, boys. And if they win this, because WVU ended up winning Tucson, LSU will get to host the regional, or super regional.
How about that?
In the box, something that nobody would have ever thought after a 3-12 SEC start. It's been a hell of a ride, man. I'll say this: Jay Johnson is probably the closest thing. Now, I've never covered Nick Saban, so I'm not the person to say this. But Jay Johnson is, I guess maybe a better way to just say it is that I think that Jay Johnson's probably the best coach that I've ever covered, up there with probably Kim Mulkey and stuff, in terms of just these kind of next level coaches. He's going to have LSU be good for a very, very, very long time.
That's good to hear. I mean, if you really think about that 11 seed going, no Tuesday, anybody who's ever played on a Tuesday has ever won it, but LSU certainly came as close as anybody in what was a very entertaining, they run-ruled Kentucky and that was that was something else.
Look, LSU in the middle of the season, their top two starters, the Alabama transfer Luke Coleman and Gage Jump. That's right, baby. Alabama, boo, boo, boo. See, I called them that. LSU, we love you. Alabama, boo, boo, boo. Proud of you. Yeah, so Holman and Jump, their top two starters, all of a sudden got really good. And I think Nate Yeske, and they've been throwing well up to that point, but very, very consistent, and became one of the best 1-2 punches in the entire league. I also think Nate Yeske, the pitching coach, kind of, I don't know if he started to get to know this staff, but really the entire staff basically threw had a SEC only team ERA in the low threes. That's in your right. In the low threes after the halfway point. So it's been an amazing turnaround to watch. And honestly, at this point, it's kind of like house money a little bit. The only thing is, my in-laws are from Morgantown, West Virginia. They are WVU natives. They went to WVU. And they're randomly coming in town this week. And so on a personal level, I really, really want this. Because me and my father-in-law, whom I love dearly, could go to a super regional in the box randomly, a little WVU LSU action.
That'd be pretty solid right there.
Tommy Tanks up to bat, boys. Let's go.
3-2, LSU with the lead over North Kakalaki. So the story on USC trying to back out of the game against LSU. Where in the world did that come from?
Tommy White all series. No way he did again. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
Are you?
Oh my God.
Are you calling the game?
That is probably White's fifth time that third baseman has robbed him of an extra base hit. That's freaking crazy. Yeah, I don't know. From what I understand, with all that stuff, seems. I'd say there's enough smoke there where it does not seem like Lincoln Riley. I don't know if it was looking at where his team was going to be at the time, or there's the fact that they share an agent. I mean, Brian Kelly made a joke about Trace Armstrong, their agent, definitely not wanting the game to be played. But something about that game just didn't line up with Lincoln Riley's development schedule, or he didn't see the value in it. But no backing out. Even though if I'm Lincoln Riley, dude, I'm looking now, I'm like, well, Brian Kelly's been awful in openers. LSU hasn't seemed like they know themselves at all coming out of camp. So maybe that's the best time to catch an LSU Brian Kelly team.
So, talking about the football team, what are you worried? So, I've had some people go to the practices. They're really worried about the defensive line. Is that something we should be worried about? Or something? You got the Bo Davis, who, in my opinion, is top 5 defensive line.
I think Bo Davis. Yeah, I mean, look,
if
Bo
not
Davis
the best,
will without a doubt be I mean, they didn't even have a legitimate D-line coach last year. Jimmy Lindsey got sick right before the season, and they just moved John Danforth in there. So the technique last year was perplexing to the point of being, incredulity. But the technique should be better, but you lost 3 NFL guys. I mean, you had 3 D-linemen get drafted. That's how bad the coaching was in that D-line last year. You had 3 guys get drafted, and you were awful. In an alternate universe, you would have loved to see what Bo Davis could do with them, but that's not going to happen. So now he's going to do the most with what he has. I will say, though, one thing that did worry me, it's like Kimo Makamiole, an offensive lineman who switched over to D-line, was, I think, right away in the 2 deep. I don't know if he held that throughout spring, but it is an unquestionably light position. It is the massive Achilles heel of this LSU team.
So I mean, that's why I really am not seeing all this hype around LSU this fall as being a top 4 SEC team. Because right now I'm thinking Georgia, I'm thinking Texas, I'm thinking Ole Miss, and I'm thinking Alabama.
There's a lot of so I would tier it like this. I think because I agree with you. I think LSU is probably 9-3 again, which is not going to be good enough. Or 9-3, which is not going to be good enough to be in the top 4. Though they do have a somewhat favorable schedule, but I tier it like this. I think Georgia, Texas, tier 1. Although I do feel that we are giving Texas that much credit, but I hate them all last year. They proved wrong, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time around. That's tier 1. I got Alabama in sort of its own little tier 2, and then I got Ole Miss, Mizzou, LSU, Tennessee. Like, all those teams are going to be fighting to see who can emerge as that 4th team. And maybe Alabama gets sucked down into that tier. Like, I'm not sure. I think they're above that. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I agree with you. There's not enough oxygen in the room for how many teams think they're going to make a 12-team playoff.
So, I mean, that leads to me some serious talk of Brian Kelly being on a hot seat. Does it not? I mean,
not with Louisiana economy when that man has $100 million guaranteed, dude. I mean, what? No. There's no such thing as a hot seat for Brian Kelly. It would definitely, not in terms of functionally being fired. It would definitely cause, there would be some civil unrest. I think if you go 9-3, I think you're probably okay. I mean, again, what people really wanted to see was a commitment to change after the abhorrence that was last year's defense, and you went and spent damn near $10 million remaking the defensive staff. So at least, you proved a willingness to act there that seems to have satiated some of the public lust for some bloodletting. But no, I mean, look, I don't know. If you go 9-3, you win 2 games again, I think people are probably happy. It's when you fall under that that kind of magical 9-3 number that things start to go sideways for these big time programs. So y'all want to know about that? I mean, you may soon. I don't know. I'm a believer in Cam DeBoer, but you never know, dude. Could be y'all for too long here. I'm sure you can recruit fine, though. I'm sure you can recruit just as good as Nick Saban. I wouldn't worry about it.
So at what point does Justin Jefferson maybe become a bigger contributor to the LSU football program, you think, after today?
I think the funniest part about that, the wildest part about the Justin Jefferson thing to me is we're only about 7 years removed from the Saints giving Mike Thomas $20 million and everybody thinking like, oh man, like that's crazy. Like you can't win paying a wide receiver. And so it's so funny how much our kind of building theories change. Because some people see out of that, but for the most part, that is not like feeling no wide receivers are the keys to winning. You have to pay your wide receivers. It's just wild how fast positional fortunes can change in the NFL.
Somebody doesn't like salmon.
No, somebody clearly does not like salmon.
They're not eating yet. They're plating. I'm plating. We got our broccoli down. Let's put the rice down. Let it cool off for a minute. We got our salmon in. I kind of messed up the order. The edamame and the corn. I should have the edamame first because obviously it's going to take less time. That's on me. But
I don't know, man. It sounds like the best restaurant in the world.
Look, you can't be perfect, dude.
Everybody's happy at this place.
All I'm trying to be is better. Yesterday.
Well, try to have like a Justin Jefferson day tomorrow. So enjoy that dinner. The dinner bell has rung in the Hebert household.
In my life, where I get $110 million guaranteed. That'd be awesome. Oh, Quad Bob, you want to say what's up? Say what's up, dude. Hey, let's see what's going on.
Come on, what's up? What's up?
He's not what I have in the
Oh, well, that's one way to make them quiet, I guess.
Just feed them. That's one way to make them
quiet. That's true.
T-Bob, get your seat. It sounds like a squealing pig. You hear that?
So you're saying a future hog maybe up there in Fayetteville?
Anything but Bama, dude.
Anything but Bama.
I hope he's good enough to play at Alabama.
Wes has been on the other side of that. I hope he's good enough to play at Alabama too. I think it definitely goes somewhere else.
That worked out pretty well with Bonesaw down there.
Yes.
So.
Oh, it absolutely did. That's why I've always respected Connor so much. It's a true psychopath throwed-off move to just say, like, hey, I'm forging my own path. I don't care that my family's essentially Alabama royalty. I'm out this thing. Later. That's awesome. That gets you respect forever in my eyes.
One out, top of the sixth. LSU leading it over North Carolina 3-2. And winner take all regional.
Right
now, yeah.
Helmers is kind of rolling right now, dude. That's the best part about these weird regional setups is you get so deep in your staffs that there has to be these like unexpected heroes. And today thus far, it feels like Will Helmers is good. Like, because if you win, like you win a championship, you become immortalized. But if you like even pull off like a big game that people care about, for the next few years, you'll have like cachet that you would have never had other. Oh, God, he's feeling it right now, boy. Shoot.
Well, enjoy the game, T-Bob. I appreciate the time as
Good luck,
always.
T-Bob. See you soon.
Always great to talk to you, sir.
I love you both very much. See you soon. SE Media Day. Sorry I wasn't at the spring meetings. I was jealous. I missed y'all, but I hope you'll have an excellent night, boys.
Yeah, just keep that Hester fella in line there in the morning.
Yeah, I'll deport Jake, dude. He hurt his back yesterday picking up his fifth child.
Oh, no.
He just coming for us, boys. Pour one out. I'm going to keep drinking this bourbon.
All right. Good to talk to you. Good to talk to you, T-Bob.
Later, boys. Holla.
T-Bob Abear. Oh,
I go home and listen to that.
That is T-Bob. Some scores from earlier today. It's a light schedule in college baseball, but how about those Purple Aces? As Evansville downs East Carolina 6-5. That's the 4 seed in that regional. Moving on, the Florida Gators chomped their way into the Supers as they beat Oklahoma State 4-2. And, of course, that was a Florida team that went all the way into the championship round and lost to LSU last year. And they were one of the last teams to go into this round, into the NCAA tournament. Oregon State also a winner over UC Irvine 11-6. And later on tonight, it's UConn and Oklahoma in what is a regional championship game. And as I mentioned, top of the sixth, one out, LSU leading it 3-2. Now, North Carolina is the visiting team in this game, so LSU is the home team despite this game being played in Chapel Hill. So just kind of the crazy little quirks of regional baseball. Anyway, that is your T-Bob Abear update for the man who is known as the Millennial Snowflake. Let's take our final time out. Final call for phone calls on the other side as we wrap up this Monday edition of The Drive live here from Woody Anderson Ford.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
It's freezer season at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out the name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. Best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock and ready to go or have delivered. Don't let all that high-dollar food go to waste. Go to Owen Home Appliance Center and get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get a $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to stay warm as we head into the overnight. It's also going to be humid across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only dropping into the mid and upper 60s. I'm also going to hold on to the opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. Wednesday is going to look very identical to Tuesday in that we're talking about a mostly cloudy to overcast sky. Temperatures are going to climb into the low and mid 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Winding things down here at Woody Anderson Ford. Always great to be here at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and the fine staff here at Woody Anderson Ford. If your ride's got a couple of miles on it, then they can get you on a brand new ride here at Woody Anderson Ford. Or if you, I don't know, maybe just went down to the beach or going to the beach and need to get that car serviced or SUV or whatever the case may be, a full service for the service department here at Woody Anderson Ford. A very interactive, user-friendly website as well, woodyAndersonFord.com. Briefly reference the preseason rankings that came out. In fact, the college football FPI from ESPN came out today, and here's how it stacks up. 3 out of the top 5 come from the Southeastern Conference. The number 1 team for the college football FPI, that'd be the Georgia Bulldogs. Then the first Big Ten team, and that just, it's Oregon. Oregon is number 2 on this list. Oregon is 2. Texas is 3. Ohio State is 4. Alabama is 5. That is how the top 5 looks in the very first college football FPI. And so now they've also broken it down analytic style to find out who has the best odds at receiving a bye. And Oregon has the best odds in terms of potential of getting a bye, followed by Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, then Penn State. Alabama's chances at receiving a bye is set at 8%. So whatever that's worth. So the projected top 20 college programs, this is for the end of the year. They're projecting it out for the end of the year. And interestingly enough, I'm going to go number 20 is the Florida Gators. They have the Florida Gators being 20.
Who cares? These people know what they're doing. They just
Auburn, by the way,
they're taking a bunch of mud and just throwing it against the wall. They have no idea.
Auburn, this is ESPN Analytics. They get paid to
be wrong. Hey, when have they been right?
ESPN Analytics has Auburn at number 19, Ole Miss at number 16. I
don't see how that. I mean, see, I don't agree with T-Bob. But T-Bob, first of all, he's going to discount Alabama no matter what.
Yeah.
I think Alabama has got as good a team as in the two teams he named.
They're number 5, by the way. Bama projected at number 5.
But Ole Miss, to me, has the best roster. The only thing is the consistency of the quarterback. If he plays inconsistent, they're going to lose 2 or 3 games. But they're going to make the playoffs, I think.
Biggest games based on matchups that will have college football playoff impact. The biggest one is Georgia at Texas, 97%. That's followed by Georgia at Alabama. Alabama at Oklahoma, also on this list as well. And Alabama at Tennessee, also with playoff implications. And Alabama at LSU, that is further down the list, including Oklahoma at LSU. That ought to be interesting as well. But there you go. I did want to play some audio from Kalen DeBoer. Remember, last month was kind of a dead month, but Bama players were keeping up and doing drills on their own. So here's what the Bama coach had to say on that subject.
Yeah, I'm excited about the hunger that these guys have. Today was our first day officially back with workouts, but like you said, they've been doing a lot, and I know that that's been actually something. Again, you talk about workload and all of that. We've been conscious and telling guys that they need to make sure that they refresh for a few days. And, I love that hunger is there. The guys, I'm on a thread this morning, guys wanting to get together, some of our leadership group, to make sure that the mindset's in the right place. That's what it's all about, is having a player-led team that, can lead themselves, lead the rest of the guys around them, and want to do something special together. So I just try to facilitate that as the head coach. I know our staff does the same thing, and these guys are hungry to whether it's to prove people right or prove people wrong. I don't know, because some people are excited about what it looks like, and others are, casting some doubts on them. And so it certainly applies to the Lank mentality that they have, and I'm excited to see what this summer brings about as far as their progression and building on what we did this spring.
And it's Kalen DeBoer saying all the right things, isn't he? I mean,
he knows how to win. You don't win by accident, Steve.
Thoroughly impressed.
Does not happen by accident.
Thoroughly impressed with, with what I saw last week, and just he looks comfortable in what is an uncomfortable position.
What's uncomfortable about it?
What's not uncomfortable about it? You're replacing arguably the greatest coach.
All he's done is win everywhere he wants.
I realize that.
He knows his system wins. I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? I don't. Pressure is what you put on. He'll put more pressure on himself, like Coach Saban did, than the pressure around you. It's no pressure around him. You just got to go do what he does. If you do that, you do all you can do. All you got to do is look in the mirror. The guy in the mirror knows.
That's going to wrap us up here from Woody Anderson Ford. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, just come on down here to Woody Anderson Ford. Boy, there is still a ton to talk about. Top of the 7th, LSU still leading it over North Carolina 3-2 in that regional, as the SEC trying to put a few more teams into supers, but didn't even get to the one of the bigger stories, and that's what happened at Auburn over the weekend and what was a big recruiting weekend. And we'll get to that coming up tomorrow here on the program. But again, a big thank you to Woody Anderson Ford for hosting us. Check him out online at woodyAndersonFord.com. We will talk to you tomorrow. Paul Feinbaum is next. Have a good night, everybody.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.